Hello, I'm Kim Malinowski. I am the poet, writer, poetess person. Um, and like I don't like want to be like I have a spokesperson sort of thing, but I do have a platform on mental illness. I do want to talk about a second for anxiety, and some of the myths that I've been finding. Like I've been talking to like relatives of mine that do have anxiety that are going through grief, and there's a lot of common misunderstandings that we're all facing. And I decided that since I said that I was going to live authentically, I was going to put everything out there, be as vulnerable as possible. Well, Kim is going on video to tell you about her anxiety. There you go, because it's more universal, even in writing, when you make it personal, and then other people understand, right? So the first thing about anxiety is that most people think a therapist will help, or psychiatric help, or this is like the first thing that we say, oh, go to the hotline. And please, if you're feeling suicidal, do call a hotline. That's not what I'm saying. But therapy only goes so far. I get 40 minutes, me personally in the US, I get 40 minutes a week as a disabled, highly anxiety bipolar woman. And so that's when my therapist isn't on vacation. And when huge events happen, it's always my luck that my therapist is on vacation. So what happens then is that I lean on my friends, and maybe I lean too hard, but it's sort of like what we're there for, right? Um, and if you're not there for it, then you have to tell me. Um, and if I'm not there for you that way, it's my duty to tell you. So I believe in details. That if you give the details in writing, it makes it much more specific and people understand a little bit more. So 40 minutes therapy a week. And this is what has happened just a tad bit in the last week. All right, here we go. My cat's dying. He's 21. It's going to be the end of an era for me. I'm giving him life-saving care. Good for me, right? Yeah. But it's a little traumatic too, because it brings up like my grandmother, who I cared for as well for like 7 years, and like it's been a while, but it still brings it up, and that's how grief works, and that's how anxiety works. There's nothing that my friends can do. There's nothing that strangers can do, but we do listen and we do learn from each other. I was at a shooting. I was 2 cars away. I could have been killed. I am very much not making that up or making it overly dramatic or melodramatic. I've been in a fog for days. It will be one of the shifting points in my life where I say, before this, I was this way, and after this, I was a different way. And anxiety, we have to beat it. I've gone to the intersection. I've gone through it. I've gone around it. And still, it's a little scary, obviously. And I'm trying to do it the same way as I had an aversion to snakes, go back and forth, visit, acknowledge, and keep going. And I hope that if you have anxiety, that that just helps, of like as a tool and a technique to try to get through it. I was at a funeral. People died. I mean, lots and lots of people have died this year. I'm like up to like 10. I do feel like I'm being abused in certain areas of my life. I have been publicly humiliated a few times, which is really pretty bad for someone that it has social phobia. My cousin died of COVID. That was another one of those before after events. My family has been dealing with the trauma as I reach out and try to help those I feel like have more grief or more reason to have grief than me. And we are there for each other in different ways, but it's still very difficult to hold space for someone when you've also lost that person, and you can't talk about it because that other person is grieving maybe more intensely or more physically than you are. It's hard to do. I'm teaching for the first time, which I'm very proud of. But the fact is that before this, I would never have been able to teach. So what does that say? I mean, that's like a strength sort of thing, like I'm overcoming. And still there's anxiety. And sometimes I need to like let go and say, hey, just just let me spew this, and then say, good job, Kim, and sometimes I'll do that to you. Sorry. Um, I released a book. I never knew what releasing a book was like. Okay, there are events. And during COVID, it wasn't the same events. I didn't go in front of any platform. I didn't have a party. I didn't like have my book and go like, look at Kim. That's not how it's been working. I've been teaching. I did a lot of workshops where I could say, hey, I wrote this book. And actually, it might be cooler that way, but it's still not what the movies and the TV and the promise was, right? So anxiety, right? Before, after, during the event. And then also, well, it's not quite like what it's like in the movies. Doubt. And doubt is another form of anxiety. I clean and run my house now. So pretty much any problem that is a household problem is a Kim problem. And is that bad? Not always, but sometimes. And I think that we all have this. I mean, we all have stressors, and sometimes we need to lean on each other. And that is the major point of this, is that if you're having anxiety, if a huge traumatic event happens, your anxiety is going to magnify that. I was talking to my relatives about this. I don't want to name them. And it's true, like as you go through like these things, if you have anxiety already underlying as a condition, as a disorder, then having like a huge trauma or even a small trauma, it's very hard to get through, and it's magnified. And not everybody understands that the magnification is normal. What is not normal is if it goes beyond what like you have your underlying anxiety, you have your trauma, you keep going. If it becomes like overwhelming and like to the point of exhaustion, you're not sleeping, or there's a huge behavioral change, then perhaps you might need to talk to not just I don't want to say like you have to talk to a professional, but you may have to have your medications changed, or you may have to meditate more, whatever is your go-to, right? So I have to say that with everything that is going on, I want to report that Kim is doing awfully damn well. I may talk too much. I definitely talk too much. I reach out too much, but I want to let you know, and this is for everyone out there. If I know you, I don't know you, you're one of my students, you're not one of my students, you're one of my teachers, whoever, you come to me if you have anxiety, if you have any issues, if you have any questions. People already come to me about side effects and bipolar disorder, and they don't want to be named, and they don't want stigma. Well, then you come to me. I'll keep your name out of it. We will discuss it, and I'll be here for you. I also want to talk to you about the Cauldron of Healing, which I am not getting any kickbacks from, but I am a member of, and I do Reiki with them. And they don't claim to cure anything, but they will hold space with you, and they will let you just complain and say, this is how I feel and it hurts, and we will be there for you. This is for grief. I deal a lot with people that have had people pass or passing, and these are some rituals that you can do. And so please reach out to me. If it doesn't have to be bipolar disorder, anxiety, it can be grief, it can be whatever. Please, joy, come on, bring it on. I'll be happy with you. So yes, so I will be leaning heavily on everybody. And I'm gonna say I'm not gonna be apologetic for that, because I expect you to lean on me as well. It's a 2-4. I raise my hand to you. You can raise your hand to me. And we'll even say, so mote it be. So that is my public service announcement. And please reach out, especially during this time with Afghanistan and 9/11. I mean, like, please, we all have traumas. If you're a veteran and you need to speak and you don't want to talk to anybody that is like official or that might, cause clearance issues, you come to me. I'm a poet. We're interviewing, right? Okay. I'm getting material. So please, feel free to take advantage of any of the ways that you can contact me. And I hope to see you, and I hope that you will let me lean on you and understand that I'm not myself right now, and that I will never be the same person that I was. None of us are. We change every day by the second. Be well, be safe. I really like to say may the force be with you, but we'll leave that for a different t-shirt. I'm wearing Hogwarts right now. Bye.